Okay, so first thing first, what made me want to do surrogacy? Um, First off, if anyone know me, usually the people who's gonna be listening to this, they know me. They know that I will help anyone. And I believe my purpose in life is to help people. And although I don't have much, whatever I have, I don't mind helping. So years ago, I would want to say about maybe 5, 6 years ago, I thought about first off donating my eggs. And then I was like, well, I don't think that'd be a good idea because that means I'll have a baby somewhere, walking around the earth or walking around somewhere, and I don't know. So then I went through, at first I was contacting egg banks and, trying to see what is the process to do so. And then, like I said, after much consideration, I decided, nope, that's not the route I want to go. Then, of course, I've been with my girlfriend Tab for 2 years now. And when I met her, her sister actually she was pregnant with twins through the surrogacy journey, through her first surrogacy journey. And so, of course, I did a lot of research. I asked a lot of questions. I was able to see how she, handled herself and handled the situation, but I did my own research. So, back last year in October, I enlisted with an agency, and of course, I have 5 kids. And I had, 3 vaginal, 2 C-sections. And after my last baby, I had a LEAP procedure, which is a laparoscopic endo something procedure. Almost had it. But it's basically where they find abnormal cells on your cervix area, and they put you to sleep. They have to scrape it. They have to test it. Nothing came back cancerous, but supposedly, depending on the size of the scraping and the size of the culture that they had to take, it can actually push you into, if you was to get pregnant again, it can push you into preterm labor. So the agency that I enlisted with last year in October, they did not want to work with me because even though I had normal pap smear since then, they did not want to actually work with me. And the way they didn't tell me they didn't want to work with me, they just basically left me hanging. So then after that, I was like, okay, well, that's fine. So I left it alone for a little while, and then a friend of mine decided to ask me if I would carry for him. And I was like, yeah, I'll carry for you, no problem. Because again, this is all about helping somebody, right? Well, there was some unforeseen occurrences that happened, and I told him, I was like, hey, let's just make sure that I can even do this first. I'm going to go through an agency that, that have experience with this and that can walk me throughout the whole process. Well, went through Prima Vita Surrogacy, which is the agency I'm with right now. Shout out to Jessica because she actually referred me to them, and they're all so sweet, so loving. Everyone from Jessica to Ashley to Amanda to Haley. It's wonderful. So anywho, so she's like, hey, try my agency out. So I was like, okay. So I literally filled out everything. I did my profile. I told them, hey, I'm willing to do 1 transfer embryo. I'm willing to do 2. No more than 2, of course. But in the state of Texas, I believe you can only do a maximum of 2. So went ahead and sent over my profile. I kid you not. very fast, very fast. They sent me a profile of two gentlemen by the name of Carl and Joel. I'm telling you, I felt like it was meant. It was meant for us to connect. Instead of them actually doing a Skype meeting like we're supposed to, or like they recommend, they actually took the liberty of driving to Houston and actually meeting myself and Tab. We went out to dinner. We instantly clicked. They told us their story. I told them my backstory. And it was meant for us to actually meet. It was meant for us to be matched because, as they stated, right before they got my profile, they had made up their mind, you know what, we're going to just go ahead and do 2 different journeys because we really wanted twins, but we'll just have to do 2 different journeys because no one wants to take twins. There were people who were against the same-sex marriage and things like that. And not to mention that Joel, he's a Pisces and I'm a Pisces, and it was just awesome. So with that being said, we met that one time and we went back. Now, Joel was nervous. I was nervous. Meeting them, it was crazy, but we met. We didn't even take pictures that day, and but before all of that, let me rewind just a little bit. Before all of that, when they sent me over their profile, when Prima Vita sent me over their profile, I just felt like they were the cutest. I was like, oh my God, I love them. I love them. I love them. Like, they had a little bit of Louisiana in the background. Well, not they, but Carl did. And it was so funny because when we did meet, oh my God, I could not get their names. Like, it just seemed like one name fit one person, the other name fit the other person. And so I would get confused like crazy. But we met. They went back instantly and said they loved us. I went back instantly and was like, it was awesome. I love them. And things start rolling. So about a month or so, the longest portion of this was actually getting legals. I would want to say legals was the longest portion. The longest wait time. So once we got matched, of course, we had to go through medical examination. Had to drive down to Fort Worth, do a hysteroscopy with Dr. Kaufman. He's the best. He is the best. I love him, love him, love him. At Fort Worth Fertility, and they had to make sure my cervix and my uterine lining and my uterus was all good, my thyroid. So, of course, they checked everything. Everything came back. Everything checked out perfectly. At that time, I was able, Tab and I, we were both able to actually sit down and talk with Ashley for almost an hour and a half after the hysteroscopy because I was cramping really bad. She gave me Motrin. She gave me She gave me Midol to help the cramping. I felt weak. It was just crazy. But it was because, of course, I'm anemic. They had to take blood right after the hysteroscopy, and it was just crazy. But we made it. So after the appointment with Ashley, our Prima Vita, we went back, got the results within like less than a week. It was like everything checked out. You guys are good. You're good. No tobacco, no alcohol. It's like, oh, y'all checked for that? I sure didn't know. But anywho, everything cleared. And so next, they moved me on to start birth control. I had to set up a timer every day. Every day I had to set up. I had to set an alarm because me and daily pills, we don't get along, especially birth control. And so was on birth control almost 3 months, waiting on legals. Finally, after birth control 2 months. Maybe after the second month, we finally drew up legals. Oh, but before legals, my bad, you guys. We had a psychological evaluation. Oh my goodness. I think the most nerve-wracking part of my psychological evaluation was me overthinking the process before it even happened. They literally asked me a couple questions, and that's because Ashley and I at Fort Worth Fertility had built so much rapport while, in the hour and a half, 2 hours after my procedure. And so, they determined that, hey, you're psychologically ready. And then I persuaded them, look, I promise, I don't want any more kids. Y'all can have them, They was like, do you understand that you're going to have to give these babies up? I was like, do they understand that they have to take this baby? So anywho, it was it was funny or whatever, but I overthought it the night before and things like that, but it was smooth sailing. Then came legals. I'm telling you, it was one Sunday when Joelle sent me just the front page of the contract saying, we finally got a draft. It's 31 pages. We're going to read over it, and we are going to, sign it out, and then they're going to send it to you, They literally did exactly what they said. They had the documents sent. I had them that Monday. I went over it with the lawyer on that Tuesday or that Wednesday. I signed it, notarized it. I'm telling you, once the draft was put together, everything went so much faster. Like, it was so fast. So we put the draft together, and then they got the final copy. All of that was signed. Then here comes the next thing after that was the escrow account. The escrow account had to be set up. And to be honest with you, I learned a lot about finance too throughout the journey as well. But we had to set up a escrow account, get it set up. They went over how it works. We had lawyers. It's a very lengthy process, but it's all worth it, you guys. It's all worth it. So, anywho, next came the big Christmas gift, as the world of surrogacy call it. It's the wonderful FedEx, USPS, UPS box of needles, medicine, injections, pills, alcohol pads, small needles, big needles, drawing needles, injection needles, what is it called? The red band. Big Christmas gift. And so basically I received that, and I started my meds. I was on Lupron, which was an injection. And it's so funny because my doctor they accidentally sent me the oral version of estradiol, which is also called estrate. They sent me, this is supposed to be an injection, but because my lovely uterus is so wonderful, and the estrate it helps thicken your lining as well as the Lupron. And yeah, they allowed me to keep this, and it didn't have to be one of those big old ugly fat needles like my progesterone is. So of course I started off with Lupron. Along with Lupron, I was not, I didn't take my estradiol for a while. I received a calendar that told, it was basically 30 days into my transfer. So I was able to know exactly what day my transfer was, which was August 14th. So basically, I took Lupron for about 2 weeks. I took estradiol for about 3 weeks. All of this is before transfer. And then 5 days before I took my started my progesterone, which is a big needle, you guys. This needle, oh, goodness gracious of goodness. These needles are nothing to play with. But 5 days before starting my 5 days before the transfer date, I started my progesterone, which that needle, long needle, that's the drawing needle. Then we have, of course, then I have to switch the needle out to a wonderful, wonderful injection needle. And the progesterone actually it's not that big. It's oil. So that's why you have to draw it with one needle and inject it with another, because they want to make sure that the needle is big enough to take in the oil. But trust and believe, I did my research, y'all. I made sure I can do whatever I can to lessen the pain, lessen the soreness. Yes, here's the progesterone oil. What I do is I tend to boil it. I place it inside of water, hot water, let it heat up some to make it like the oil not as thin. And yeah, before my transfer date, while I was taking my estradiol, I had 2 observation appointments where they wanted to make sure my uterine lining was thick enough. One of my appointments was 5 days before transfer. The first one was right when I started my estradiol. You guys, when I say uncomfortable, that was the most uncomfortable doctor's appointment ever. Ever. Because, not to give you too much information, but yeah, I had to go when it was that time of the month. And they wanted to make sure it was that time of the month. Like, it had to be that time of the month for me. And I'm just like, oh my God, why can't you just send me away? But yeah, so that is the process that I had to go through, basically all before my transfer date.